The sewing gauge is really a multi-tool all-in-one. Not only can you use it to measure and mark up hem allowances, button placement, button size, tucks and pleats, you can use it as a point turner, and you can use it as a button shank creator, and you can even create circles. So let's start at the beginning. Hem allowance. There's two ways to do this. Firstly, you can mark on the wrong side the depth of the hem allowance, and I'm just using the fadeaway, the vanishing air erasable pen. So I'm just going along here and marking my 2-inch hem, and then I can turn that up on that line to create the hem allowance I want. Alternatively, if I wanted, say, a 1.5-inch hem allowance, I put the slider on the 1.5 inch, and then I can mark on the hem allowance that 1.5 inch, and then I can trim back or tuck in any excess. But that's not all you can do with this. The other thing you can do, of course, is to mark pleats. Now, my pleats that I've started here are 1 inch wide. So I'm going to mark the placement line with one colour and the fold line with a different colour, and continue to do that. So placement line, fold line, and I'm actually leaving 1/2 inch between, so they are ready to fold. So I can fold my fold line to the placement line, and I know every time which is which is the fold line, which is the placement line, because I've marked them in different colours. I've used the vanishing pen, which is the purple, and I've used the blue one, which is the wash away. So both of those will disappear once the garment is washed. So that's an easy way of putting pleats, tucks, etc. The other thing I can do, using the marker, is I can determine where I want my buttonholes to be and how long I want them to be. And again, I would use different colours for the top and bottom. So there may be, I'm going to have 1 inch long buttonhole, and that's the top and that's the bottom. 1/2 inch between them. So that's the top, that's the bottom. And I can go down in a straight line doing this all of the way. And by doing this, I know which is the top and bottom of the buttonhole and won't get confused. Very, very easy to use. But that's not all it can do. The other thing it can do is this end here you can use to create a shank on your button. And there's actually 2 of these. So if you only want a tiny shank, you can use just one. If you want a bigger shank for a more bulky button, you can use both together. Place it on the fabric where the button's going to go. Button on top, and then you stitch through from the back. And because you've got the guide in place, just there, when you stitch it through, let me pick it up. When you stitch it through, you'll be creating a shank because your button isn't close to the fabric. So if I take that away now, I can pull the button away from the fabric, and you can see I've got a shank under there. So I can now bring the needle up between fabric and button, wrap it around that shank, which will give me a little bit of space between button and fabric, so that when the fabric is buttoned up, it won't bulk and it'll lay nice and flat. But that's not all either. As well as doing all of that, I can create circles with this. There's a little hole in the gauge here, and then using a marking pen in the other hole, I can draw a line in a lovely circle, just as you would with a compass. And then that's ready to cut out to create a perfect circle. But that's still not all. We can also use it to turn through corners. This is really good on things like collars, bag corners. So when I want to get that corner nice and crisp, I can push the point in and then use the point of the point turner to push out the corner. The sewing gauge, a multi-tool for loads of uses.